Giovanni Kiyingi, welcome to Songwriter2Another.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, man.
So, are you feeling a little bit of your story, or do you just want to blow us away with a song just to warm up the room? It's up to you. You can ease into it. Or...
No, I don't know.
It doesn't. We'll hear some music from you either way.
Yeah.
Cool. So I was only able to see you once at So Far Sounds, but I was very impressed, and I just
Thank you.
knew it would be a fun conversation.
Thank you very much.
And of course, not all your songs were in English. There was some English, and then Ugandan. And are those the two primary languages you've written in?
Of course, yeah. Ugandan folk, languages, and then I'm just trying to spice up things with the English sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you had a big show on Friday at the Nash.
At the Nash, man.
Nice. In a full house.
Full house. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful audience, and we're feeding off, from the energy they're giving us.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your story is interesting. You've been here 2 years.
Yeah.
In Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's hard to even explain briefly, your musical journey because it comes in so many forms. But
yeah,
for the lens of songwriting, and maybe we could just start there about, what your relationship is to crafting a song, when it started, and just like how that has been consistent throughout all these, just to fill people in. You've done workshops and religious work and meditation, things of yoga.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot, ambient sounds as well. So, but where's the composition, the songwriting come in?
Of course, once you learn to play an instrument, that is to me, when you learn to play an instrument and these sounds, are coming, out of the instrument, they force you to put, some words on the journey of the instrument. How do I go on the journey of writing a song? Sometimes it's just spark. Sometimes I'm forced I have to write a song today, and it doesn't happen. Or I might have an idea of writing a song a certain way, and another idea comes, so I put the other one out, and this one is so fast,
Mm-hmm.
So there are no specific, programs or specific atmospheres that spark off the writing in terms of me.
Mm-hmm.
I might be happy and write a sad song, or write just a song, and get to form it, after that,
Yeah.
So there are no specific ways that, I cling to this. When I have this, when I write the song,
Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
The first song ever. Yes. I remember the first song I wrote. And
what was the story there?
The story there was, it's like I was giving thanks to, I go to church, and that's the way I've been running my life around the church. I happened to study in the how do they call them, the monasteries where the priests are studying from. So I wanted to become a priest because I grew up in the church. So I studied up to a certain time, but I couldn't go further because my mom and my dad were not married in church, which is one of the things that you have to have. Charity begins at home. So how will you tell people to, go into the marriage and your mother and father, they were not married in church?
So you wanted to be a priest?
Yes.
But then you found out at a certain point.
Yeah, I was asked and then went back and asked. So
are your parents married at all?
They never did because mom died a little bit early and I just lost dad in 2019. So going back to the first song was, thanking God for, all the things I've passed through and the ups and downs. That was.
But this was written after you realized you could no longer pursue priesthood?
No, but it was a little bit
Before.
before.
Oh, when you were so it was
Still
when you
singing.
were still like on that path.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So, and yeah, wrote that. Then had the time to, go record. And my first time in studio, there's a lot of things were going on. So I recorded it, and it didn't work out the way I want. So I was like, continued listening to music, other people's records, and so I was always asking myself, how did these guys do it? How did these guys do this? How did these guys? So yeah, the journey came on growing like that.
You recorded that first song,
Yeah,
and you didn't like the way it sounded?
I didn't like the way it sounded.
And was it just one song you recorded?
Yes.
And how old were you at that time?
I don't think 15 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. You got right to, and you were playing music before that? Or?
Yeah, I was playing music before that. I was playing folk music, music that we grow on the, around the bonfire or the gathering food, songs, helping parents around songs. Kids have songs, while growing up at home, That's how Africa is made. So every session probably has a song. When you're gathering food, when you're washing, when you're fishing, when you're, ironsmith and backcloth making, so fetching firewood or fetching water. So there's a lot of, songs that people chew on as they're growing.
Wow.
So
it's just like embedded in the culture.
Of course, but I'm not a griot. Griots are people that are born in the music family. So I happen to, get music, patches of music from, the people around me. But my family is not into music, so I'm the only one doing the music.
Oh, they're not into music?
No.
But they were always singing the folk songs. Like, that's normal.
Of course, kids, as they're growing, the peer pressure makes us, join a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, are the songs, how far do these songs for each activity go as far as distance? Are they unique to an area? And then if you went, how far would you have to go before they're singing different types of songs?
Uganda has 54, if I'm not mistaken. No, 54, 55, 56, around, some tribes are getting extinct, but around that.
For languages?
So every 50, 56, ethnic groups have different languages. The songs might be the same, but they will sound different because every ethnic group, the music sounds different. Though when they interpret the song for you, say, "Oh, this is how we sing it in our ethnic group," or "This is how we do it in our ethnic group." So you hear different rhythm from a certain ethnic group of the same song being sung and being in different notations. And you come to another group, they will sing the same song or the same feeling of the song, but differently. So these, as far as they can go, they shift from one tribe to another tribe. Yeah.
Would you be willing to give me an example of any of these folk songs? Just a little sample of one that's common.
Let's say for the lazy kid, and so, can I say the lazy kid or the one of a hardworking kid? So let's go on the happy side of it. So the kid that is, helping the parents around and in different activities that are happening in the day-to-day life of the family. At the end of the day, in the evening, someone is being rewarded for hard working. So in Africa, we have a basket always in the house that is full of fruits and goodies, for the hard workers. So always when the kids gather, they will start singing. Echipopo chiri mu nyumba jango chirabe chiri mu nyumba. Echipopo chiri mu nyumba jango chiri mu nyumba. Ewa jaja chiri mu nyumba. Ewa senga chiri mu nyumba. Ewa koja chiri mu nyumba. Echipopo chiri mu nyumba. As they're dancing around. And they don't know that they're working out, because they're jumping, they are, singing loudly, they are, grooving to their own rhythm, but they're keeping the context of the basket is in the house, full of, they start mentioning there, the house. So when I started doing music, then I kind of rearranged that song to suit my, current generation, and then had a song sounding like. Echibobo, chiri mu nyumba, echibo cha jaja, chigenda chichute, chida chichute, olole chibo. Chipo cha cha cha, chigenda chichute, awange chida chichute, zine nkomamo wangomo, minevika kubya bana, mubisigwa chacha, ngatuguchomo, emanye z'abakulu, ngabasichomo, zino ensuga za chachange, ngatusangomo. Olole chipo chiri mu nyumba, chipo cha 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 chiri mu nyumba, chigenda chichute, abange chida chichute chiri mu nyumba. So this is an instrument called akogo, and I think many of the people here call it the kalimba. So I think now you can hear the context of the song from Chibobo chiri mu nyumba, dango chiri mu nyumba, something like.
What's the lyric there in English then of the original folk song?
It's like the basket full of goodies. It is in the house. It's where you find the mangoes. It's where you find the oranges. It's where you find the good fruits that our grannies or our parents keep on gather from our day-to-day life and put them in the basket for rewarding like the hard workers in the evening. So the song is all about these are the things in the basket. Where do we find the basket? In the house, somewhere. So, and our song is like that.
And the adaptation that you wrote is it similar?
Yeah, everything. The context remained the same. I just probably changed a little bit of the rhythm and. The notation of the music or something like that, the sound of the music, but in terms of the words, they stick the same.
So, okay, and you've recorded that song,
yes.
Yeah, and I think you performed it
even
at the show I was at. So, anyone who lives in Uganda where you're from would hear your version, and
they will start to sing.
And they'd all know the song.
No, when I start to sing that, when I start to sing that and they hear the first call of the song, they will start to sing because they know the genre of the song.
That's amazing. So it's a well-known song.
It's a known song. It's a folk song.
Yeah.
So as long as you leave the context the same, and as far as you can go in terms of music, you can play it any way you want, and when someone hears the call, automatically their childhood memories go back and they will start to sing.
So what percentage of your music do you feel like taps into these older songs?
Let me say 30% maybe. I tend to archive for the next generation. It might not be the exact context in terms of the tradition of where the songs are being celebrated by the kids or being sung by the elders to the kids, but keeping the footstep there that this existed, although it sounds like this now in the generation we are in, there has been a journey to up to this particular stage. So I'm trying to archive that in a way that it suits the generation that we are in. Otherwise, many will not. There are some kids who don't know that particular song, and they're in Uganda. They are in Uganda too. So being influenced differently, or by TV or iPads or what is trending, and they grow up like that. Then there's a day-to-day kid that is in the village or grows around the extended families as they happen to know these particular songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you adapting it to make it more approachable? Is it just through recording or?
Apparently now it's through more,
Oh,
yeah.
like the way you're changing it and the way you're adding a full sound,
the
basically?
full sound to it. So because normally they are singing the song clapping, but now you can hear the instrument and then go on extra mile, and there's the bass, there's the drums, there's the keyboards, the horns and everything. So the context will take them back to their childhood, but in the generation they're in.
Yeah, so it's just a little bit more of a modern music sound.
Yes. That's why it crosses over to contemporary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any other artists doing this, archiving some of the traditional folk? Yeah.
Yes, they are there.
Okay, cool.
They are there.
No way. So that's interesting. And then, so that must be a much different process for you. I mean, that's more of a musical than lyrical. But there's a lot of songs. Maybe that first song you wrote, it sounded like you wrote all the lyrics. It was more
that was more personal. Everything was really, and also those people that are trying to archive, they can play the same song. The context of the words will stay there, but the music down will be different. Mm-hmm. So that's where the journey is. Someone might choose the words of the song and the melody, and then the rhythm played is for another ethnic group. So do you get how the archiving is coming? Is archiving that ethnic group from a different is archiving that particular rhythm from a different ethnic group into their own ethnic group, and then leave the languages around. Yeah. So someone from the other ethnic group will listen to the rhythm and say, "Oh, I know this rhythm." And then the words on top are from the other ethnic group, and the music is all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I know America has a lot of folk songs as well. And that is how our folk music, the American folk and the folk singers. And it's still, I feel like it's kind of revived. Lately, folk has become more popular again.
More popular, yes.
Like an Americana folk. But I don't feel like the old songs are popular anymore, the old lyrics. Just the old style a little bit. The old style,
yeah. But I think that is due to, the ethnicity that is, the way people are living maybe don't call for the old stuff.
Yeah.
So, maybe, but you guess, you get that the old playing is still visible. Mm-hmm. So that means that was archived in the playing, but not in the lyrics.
and I'm saying it's not popular, but there are plenty of people who I do think focus on English and American folk traditions, and
Yes.
even where I'm from in Maine, there's actually a pretty with the bluegrass and
Yes.
people
Yeah.
people keep those things alive for sure. So it's an interesting thing to remember. So where are you now for songwriting? I know you said there's a few songs that are unfinished.
Yeah.
You're releasing. So you put out a new album or a
Yeah.
new collection recently as well.
Yeah, now I've been realizing that probably not many people where I come from are into the like listening to a full album due to different problems that are being affected there. Internet is a problem, so streaming becomes a problem for someone to have the internet to stream for like a full album to not be possible to as many.
Right.
Then accessing the streaming equipment, so gadgets like phones that can be part of the internet, TVs that can be put connected to internet. That is still another problem when it comes to where I come from in Uganda. So I decided to start putting out just small EPs. 6 songs are chewable for someone.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's interesting to think about that.
and also I've been on a journey of trying to reach as more youth as possible, because I find that Uganda is a country where the youths are the majority, between 35 and 45. That's the majority of the people. So the young, So I've tried to do music that they tend to see or to like on TV, to watch more on TV, but infest it with our traditional instruments or the language or the rhythms. For instance, everyone now wants to listen to Afrobeat. So how do I get Afrobeat to suit the Ugandan day-to-day life, liver or person? And how do I tell my story as a Ugandan? How do I stay Ugandan but still do Afrobeat that someone wants to listen to? So that has been my journey lately.
So you really always think, like, when you're always thinking of your audience and how to connect
Yes.
with because you have various audiences at this point around the world, it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah. I've been around, and it makes sense now when I look at the audience and I say, how do we connect with this particular audience? Because what I was praying for is the audience. Give me the audience and don't limit me with the audience, and the rest is history. So I always want to find a way of connecting with someone, even if you don't understand my language, even if you might not understand the journey of the song. But how do I get you on board to journey with me wherever I'm going? Yeah.
Now, I feel like I've heard of a very complex, array of genres in your work. It's even some rapping almost. Do you feel like you rap at all? I feel like the lyricism is in a rapping way, but you got the guitar, which I love, and so you almost. I haven't talked to anyone who feels particularly good about the concept of genres lately. Because it almost is like which pedal you put your electric guitar through, and it's a different genre.
A different genre.
Yeah. So, but for you, do you have a preference, or what is it about? What do you love in music? Because it seems like you're playing horns. I definitely hear jazz. I feel like with some
a little bit of I do what people call world music, but me, I call it fusion. So I tend to fuse different influences that I meet on the road or on the streets into who I am, into my traditional rhythms. So I always want to listen to those two things marrying each other, and the outcome is what fascinates me. Yeah.
Well, I'd definitely be apt to hear some songs. I don't know. I don't know which songs or how many songs. I mean, how many songs do you have that you at this point?
I think I'm losing even count of
I bet.
of songs. Maybe I think around maybe 65 or something like that.
Wow.
But I've done some collaborations with electronic DJs, with Afro House, producers. So those ones also on the side, and yeah, the journey still goes on.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many are you performing? I mean, how many did you get to play on Friday at the Nash?
Friday, I think we did 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it hard to choose now? Which?
Yeah, it becomes hard to choose, but now it's getting maybe easier because now I look into which audience am I going to play for at this particular time. So like for Sofa, then Sofa has the arrangements also like stripped down, songs was like, oh, maybe I can play this, or maybe I can play this, and I can play this, and
Yeah.
then when it comes, their theaters, and they have their arrangement also kind of big, big sound, but they want you to play solo. So there's also a feel to that. But also there's festivals whereby I want my audience to dance. Yes, I want to tell my story, but I want also them to, groove around, because festivals, party places. So then we go into line of, this big dancey songs on the horns loud, the guitars loud, something like that. Then it comes to some theaters that into like jazz format or something like, so we go in that. When it comes to reggae, still the same. So we can go anywhere.
Do you, do you ever play cover songs?
No,
It's all original.
original songs.
Okay.
Because I don't saying that people who are doing covers, it's bad, but personally I haven't, I don't know any cover song, and sometimes I feel like I need to use that time to create something new, because if I'm to do a cover, that song is already recorded. It is there in place, and how best can we add to that particular, calling, or to that particular atmosphere? By adding to it is to create another song, Then before you have two songs. So, but not it's not like bad for people who are interested in playing covers.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've written in all these genres because you want to be able to play to different audiences. And,
Yes.
And I mean, you must enjoy it. There's no real restriction for you. Like just any form of music you're willing to learn and jump in.
Yeah.
But it's always you, and you're always singing, right?
Yes.
So just your voice and your lyrics are what remains constant, no matter if you've done some electronic music, you said.
Yes.
And has any genre not appealed to you, or do you feel like you can find your voice anywhere?
It's always just finding a new tune, whichever song, whichever genre that is there. How do I go about this particular journey? I just make myself like free, like I know nothing. That's the best way to approach things whenever there's new music that I want to venture into. I just, I don't know anything, so I just get those introductions from that particular journey, and then see how to maneuver through it. So I go through it as a beginner of music, but in that particular journey. Yes.
Do you feel you have a requisite or a requirement of what you want to say, or a certain like depth to what you're saying, or is it sometimes you're just you know what I mean? Like telling a more personal story. Other times it's just more of a celebration. As long as you're there creating the music, that's fine? Or do you feel like the songwriting is a vehicle to express a certain, you know, depth in yourself? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, so of course there's, some limitations in terms of what do I want to say and how do I deliver this. You know, some, like, there's some issues because an artist is supposed to reflect your society. You're supposed to reflect the today, the tomorrow, and the past. So sometimes you have to look for ways of delivering this without breaking someone's uh, heart. So some approaches to political songs, for instance, where I come from, is a turmoil in terms of the political issues. Things are happening, but an artist is being sealed with a tape, like, oh, if you don't say this, then your music will not be played. It has forced us, some of us to leave our countries and become immigrants because we can't tell the truth that is happening in the country. So it's like having a father that is battling the mother, but doesn't want the kids to, when they're discussing with other people, to say, oh, my dad is beating my mom. So that is what is happening, for instance, in Africa. Where I come from, it's the same thing. It's been now 2 years. No one is doing music in my country because the 2020 elections, maybe artists wanted to someone else to be the president, and it didn't work out because the current president somehow played with her and is now the president. And now it's been 35 years of him just leading the country. Just imagine me 30 years and I haven't seen another president. So trying to air those things or write them in a way that these guys don't get offensive, but this is the truth. This is what is happening. You can't only write about the happiness, but there's also the sad moments in the country. There are times when people are dying. There are times, people are getting kidnapped. There are poems that are being around. So all those journeys, when it comes to writing, that's where I get the, should I say this or why I leave this? But it doesn't, for someone who is going through it, wants to hear it, wants to know that people are knowing what is going on. And that is the role of an artist or a writer, book writer or a painter. So those are the hiccups now I get in writing, because I want to give what is real. But
how are you navigating this? Have you written things that would get you in trouble?
Of course, I've written things that
But not released them?
No, I released them, and
Are you
in
trouble?
Of course, there's trouble now, but it's what it is. So it's nothing I can change. I put these things out, and that is what is there.
But there's places that your music won't be played, or those songs.
Yeah,
won't
of
be
course.
Played. But they're not going to come for you and punish you because of that.
They can. If I travel now to Uganda, it can happen. Because still it's not yet stable. Someone will just this is the guy. So,
wow.
There's a perception of artists that are getting exposed, or that are people are saying getting exposed, or seeing things differently, so they're bad for the country because they don't say what people want to hear or what the ones in power want to hear. Mm-hmm. So that becomes a problem. So sometimes you have to look for packaging your story, but still when the song reaches that heart, that wound, people will interpret it and they bring it up on the social media. So someone will get to know eventually what you are meaning in the song, even if you cover it somewhere. Yeah.
Wow.
So like I did a song. I was on tour in Germany, in Mannheim, so with friends. I did a song, Times of Change. And I was, in my language, I was talking about, you've tied a big rock, in my neck, and you're telling me to swim. I cannot swim. I will be going down because there's a heavy rock in my neck. You are tying my my legs, and you're telling me to run. How can I run? You are sealing my lips, and you're telling me to speak. How do I speak? So, somehow, I use, like metaphors or something like that. But, when the song got to the right people, the people that are into those particular situations, they brought out the song. But yes, truth, I was talking about the injustices that are happening. So.
Wow. Because, as a songwriter, I feel like, it's the hidden messages that allow you to say things that are vulnerable.
Yeah.
Even if it's just something that you're a little embarrassed of, something romantic or something, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to think that you're using that for political commentary. I mean, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of American folk protest songs that were extremely explicit, exactly what people were talking about. And in some ways, there's been a few songwriters who have done that during the recent political action here.
Yeah.
But there was no sense whatsoever that the artist was incentivized to be careful because, they didn't have to be.
And again, it happens.
Yeah, so that's such an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is how the song sounds.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Ozibye amaso, ozibye ennyindo n'emimwa, ompulira nzira, amaanyi n'enge by'oyolesa gye ndi, nga nakwesiga, nga nkwesise bbanga lyonna, wawulira obulumi bwe ndimu, kusaba toyiwa musaayi, kati kyayendeke kyayengoma, kyayamakwala, tuyimbira wamu, mama we, ontatulubenga muzifuba, atusaba nzise, ozibye amaaso, ozibye ennyindo n'emimwa, pulira nzira, pulira nzira, gwawulira bulumi bwe ndimu, tusaba tuyiwa musayi kati jaye ngoma jayendeke oh jaya makwala tuyimbira wamu oh yeah oh 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 yeah oh So in the song I'm saying if you're feeling the pain that I'm feeling, the other way is, don't pour blood. We do not get pangers and start, chasing one another. So here I'm advising people to, let's use the music. Bring out your bells, bring out your drums, bring out your, ankle bells, bring out your guitars. Let's sing. Time for change. Oh. Oh. It's a calling.
Yeah. So that's not the one about being tied up at the rock and everything?
Yeah, in the beginning, that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning, that's what I'm saying, that we are tied, with rocks in our necks, and we're told to swim. You cannot swim. We are tied, our legs, and we're told to run. You cannot run. But if you feel the pain that I'm feeling, you don't need to pour blood. Just get your instrument. Let's sing together. Yeah.
Wow.
But, someone hearing those particular, things and relating to what they are going through, it makes sense to someone who is into the situation. But someone who is oppressing doesn't see it, doesn't see it that way. For them, they're thinking, oh, now that is forcing people maybe to riot, or forcing people to, that is their interpretation. Yeah.
Wow. And you've released the song?
Yes, I released the song.
And it has resonated with people?
With people, yes.
Yeah. No kidding. That was really pretty. So do you have music mentors in your life that you've studied with? Because you're very versatile genre-wise, your composition.
I don't think it's... maybe I might not have, mentor, but I might have songs that impacted my life, or... Because I can't say this is... For instance, I can't say this is my favorite artist, but these are my favorite songs.
Right.
So listen to these guys and the way they deliver, and that takes me on a journey of, wow, how did they achieve this?
Or what about growing up? I mean, where did you learn to play your instruments and sing?
Church. I grew up like a weak kid, not healthy. So I couldn't, play with the rest of the kids because I was always falling, too small, and always someone could push me. And so I isolated myself into listening to records at home, So I listened to a bunch of, music around Africa and outside Africa. So in this journey, then I start hearing some sounds, and I'm asking myself, how did these people do it? How did they, for instance, there's a band called Percussion Discussion in Uganda, and they were fusing the traditional music with the Western rhythms. So I was like, how did this happen? Then there's another guy called Alex Mukulu who was singing, having a choir, and but the rhythms being sung, like complicated the way they did, like a theatrical, kind of a musical. So I was like, wow. Then listening to some Congolese music also, and the journey went on like that. So, and growing up in my vicinity, there was a family that plays to the king's palace, because not everyone plays for the king. So, but I used to go and watch that family practice to go and play in the king's palace. So, all that around, I used to like go back home, because it was quite a distance to go and watch them, and playing, body percussions of, oh, this is how it was sounding, this is how it was sounding. So every Sunday I had to like go a little bit earlier at church and try out from the church drums, whatever, or church instruments, whatever things I had those guys play. So that's how I, started like learning a bunch of instruments, personal journey, and personal interpretations. So eventually, yeah, it started going on like that. And then in school, in my primary, I don't know how do you call it here? Like junior, Then I met a teacher that was, my math teacher was also interested in music, and then told me these are the basics of traditional music in Africa.
Oh.
This is how we write. It's a question and answer, like repetitive, and the melodies always rotate around the lyrics. The lyrics and the melodies are always, familiar to one another. Either the melody is questioning and the lyrics are answering, or the lyrics are answering and the question is, so the way you hear. This is a question. Bam ba dun 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 dun. Olololole chipo chiri munyumba chipo chechecha chigenda chichute abange chita chichute. It's a question and answer,
Yeah.
kind of way of writing.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, these are the basics, and if you learn the basics, then this will lead you to learning all the instruments, and then you start from there and go on your journey. Since then, I've never gone back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So then, as I grew up, then started, venturing in people saying, this is ethnomusicology, which is the study of ethnic sounds around the world.
Right.
So, yeah, that's when I started learning about, the all kind of other sounds. Like when you go to Europe, you find the bagpipe, players playing the folk music, and when you go to Spain, you find the spoon, the spoon players, and they're singing with their playing rhythms on the spoon or something like that. When you come to Africa, there are different, rhythms that are influencing people. You go to Kenya, next to Uganda, there's a country called Kenya, Nairobi, and went there and found people playing the kivuti, the flute, and as now I was trying our traditional way of playing the flute. For us, we call it ndele, but when you go to Kenya, you'll find the kivuti. So bringing all those, musical families together into something that, inspires me. Just good vibe. So, yeah, that has been most of the, the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite the journey it's been.
Yep.
And you're here in Phoenix. You've been here 2 years, and I know you're on a bit of an exchange with the church.
Mm-hmm.
How long is that intended to last?
We've been trying. It's COVID that made everything like slow back down, but I wanted to move around, in the sister churches and meeting, these other youths that have the connection to Africa or where they come from, but also an open, showcase to everyone interested in music, or maybe a different type of music, something like that. But we go deep into workshops, into ethics in Africa, the morals in Africa, dance, drama, languages, food, dress code, things like that. Because, someone is growing up from here but has the roots, from Africa. So it makes sense to know some of the things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. And you can stay here as long as you want and keep working on this project? I know.
It's not saying, because there are other places also you can, I want to, to reach as an artist. Also, I'm open to collaborations from here and there. So, I'm also on a journey of, learning different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how's the American or even Western market? Are you writing more in English for that reason?
I won't say that. Probably that would have been the instance, because we listen to music from Spain, and they're speaking Spanish, or we listen to music from France. Not everyone is speaking French. And, Belgium, not everyone's, or Netherlands, the Dutch, so something like that. So I don't think I need to change who I am with my languages and rhythms. To then I'll end up doing the music that people are listening to, like here. So that means if I'm changing everything to English, or more of English, that means now I'm going into the space of the artists that are here, that are doing, because that's their journey, that's their influence.
Yeah.
So how do I bring my influence, fuse it with what they have, and then create something, something new? But also, I think it is a journey, it is a calling, it is healing to go to listen to something way farther away from what you are used to. So that is my kind of interpretation, that I don't need to do much of the English, but I have an audience also to protect my home country audience. So not everyone is speaking English there. Yeah. So it's the people that are in town maybe can understand the English, but when you go far away from the town, it's a different story. So I need to connect with them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of a lot of people when you write.
Of course.
Now, you have written a little bit in English, right?
Yes.
And you enjoy that. I mean,
yeah, I enjoy that. And
it's a natural inspiration.
Yes.
It's naturally inspired, like.
Yeah, it's just let's say, or maybe this. Let me take this journey this particular time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground. I'd love to hear some more music. Do you have some ideas of what you'd want to play?
Yes, I think we can. Ng'omuliro gunsinze ng'entuuyo siitulukuka kabalabe bannumbye ng'obudde bukute ng'amaviivi gakooye ng'amaziga g'essumba ng'amaaso gasitoye ng'omubiri gukooye siimenyeke kubanga mu bibatu byo mu maaso go mu bibatu byo mwe mwenteke byange mu bibatu byo mu masoko mu bibatu byo sirina lukendo okuchako ng'ontumye sirina bigambo okuchako ng'osimye enjogere wabaawo okumanya osima nonjoleseza amagezi wabaawo amanyi osima nonkozesa nga bw'oyagala singa bwe njagala simenyeke kubanga mu bibatu byo mu masoko mu bibatu byo mwenteke byange mu bibatu byo mu masoko mu bibatu byo mu masoko mu bibatu byo mwenteke byange mu bibatu byo mu masoko mu bibatu byo mwenteke byange. So mu bibatu byo, when we translate that in English, is in your palms I put my burdens, my problems, my success, my downfalls, my ups and downs. So that's the essence of the song, that I don't have words to speak unless you give me the words to speak. So it is a, kind of religious song. Me speaking to my God, or speaking to to someone superior to me, that I don't have any journey unless you send me to that particular journey. When the fire comes, around me, when the tears and sweat is dripping, I promise you I will not break. All I do is to put my burdens in your palms, in your face, in your vicinity. And that's the journey of the song, Mobi Batubio, in your palms. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So our next song will be...
Gio, not to interrupt, but just on that topic, I wanted to ask you earlier, I mean, your faith,
Yes.
how is that guiding the writing and your whole musical journey? I know that's a big question.
I think in terms of faith, the inference is there that probably I will not write like this, or what do I want to send to my audience? What am I selling to my audience? What am I communicating to my audience? Am I fishing more people for the good? Because an artist is both a builder and a breaker, So an artist can build or can break. So whatever we are sending to our people, that's where they go. Many of our, youths, or many of our audiences won't behave like us because they adore us, and that's what they see in us. That's the journey they will take. So the faith keeps me in check of what do I want to do with my audience? Where do I want to send my audience? And, with whatever I'm doing, who am I communicating to today, tomorrow, the days to come, and what change do I want to see? So I tend to choose whatever I'm going to do in that line. So that's why the faith is influencing me. Yeah.
Now, when you say you could build or break,
Yeah.
what would an example of an artist breaking?
I'll be, I'll be straightforward. I don't care who is watching.
Sure.
If my songs are all full of cussing, my audience will be doing that because that's what they feed from me. You get. If my songs are calling for peace, my audience will be in that line because that's what they feed from me. If what I, tell about people is there's killing, there's doing what, that's what the brain uh, that's what the brain records, and someone will do it because I'm doing it or I'm showing it. For instance, when you talk about racism, if we don't talk about racism, then it will die there, because the more we talk about it is the more we're amplifying it. So that is, so those are the things, some of the things I look at. When it is cursing, then I'm breaking, because the kid that is going to listen to my song when they're young, when they grow up listening to the song, what do you expect them to do? We will reflect what we see. It is kind of magical. A child that grew up seeing parents fight, or there's a lot of like booze at home. There's a lot of all bad things happening in life. It is magical that when they grow up, they don't do that. So that's what I call the breaking. But if then I try to show you the other side of the breaking. Let's think in line of peace. Let's think in line of the right. I know good things are not interesting. Do you get?
Yeah.
Do you get that? That I can put out a song that is in line of peace and it will have 10 viewers. But since the generation we are in now is being fed with another side of the story, so if I do particularly that kind of the story, then I'll get trending because I'm tapping into what they understand. But my call is try to fish them from that to what I believe is right. Hence, reducing on the societies that we are having in our communities, whatsoever you are, Africa, Western world, Europe or Asia, the notation is the same. We're all being fed on, oh, I want to be loved, I want to be liked, I want to be. So if you don't give me that, then I'm not worthy. What is the next? Let me take these pills and leave them. So this is so. But I'm saying what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Listen to the song and then let's go that journey. There's something new at the end of the tunnel. Let's pass through the tunnel. So something like that.
Yeah, I think you do have to start, with what's real, and like if there's pain and that's what's going to be recognized by the audience, that you do start there, but then it's where do you do you go?
That's yes.
And if you were writing about your own pain and that depends on how you handle it. Do you stay right there?
Yeah.
And circle in a negative way, or do you have a way to transcend?
Yes.
And I mean, for you, your faith is probably personal to begin with. It's a transcending thing.
Yes. But now you see, as you said, from this is what bothering me. How do I transcend? Transcending is the building. But if whatever solution you have is keeping you in the burden, then you are breaking more and more. You are rotting day in, day out. So I'm trying to find a way of how do we transcend. That's my call. How do we transcend from bad to good, from sorrow to to joy or happiness, So And even if you're in the bad situation, it is not the end of the day. I live with the slogan of one day at a time. So today, what is happening to me? Because that's how we are living now. We think we must be on like having happiness all the time, but there's the ups and downs. It is okay. Tomorrow is another day. You're going to be happy. So
Is that song finished?
yeah, kind of finished, but still finishing. Kind of a few things, but probably next year I'm going to be putting up an EP, Moments. So moments, what do I look at in moments is there are different things that happen in my life, and relating it to someone listening to the song might be the same things. In 2019, I was passing through something when I came here. And I was like, now I'm just realizing it is okay. That one ceased. It's no more. And now it's another story. I was sad yesterday and today I'm happy, or something like that. Tomorrow I may not be happy, but it is okay, a day at a time. The next day I might be happy. So that's the song.
Cool.
Yeah. So here, let's go in the traditions of my people. So this rhythm, we call it Baksimba. And it's one of the rhythms that are played for the king while dancing. But it's talking about someone traveling to another village and had a meal, a good meal that he wanted to share with the people he left in his village. So he gets some food to bring it back to his village. But guess what? He was attacked by wild animals, and they ate the food. So when he went back around the bonfire, he had to just tell the story of this is how the food looked, this is how delicious it was, but they couldn't have it like physically, and this is the song also we grew up like dancing to, nagende vudu nenda yenkeje wachite waletako nali ndetako akawa nikazira wachite wakakuba nali nkakuba nikebikechiswa wachite wachisima nali nchisima okuba ni mtonye wachite wawikama nali mbwekama ugoma ne buvuga, something like that. Those are the things, like songs, recitals or something like that we grew up reciting. But now when I started doing music, I was like, I can give this a rebirth. It speaks to me, but it speaks to someone else, who is in Uganda or outside Uganda, because you don't find some of the things like these songs recorded somewhere. So I was like, let me visit it, but with the rhythm that we can understand. Okutambula kulaba okudda kuwaya mukalire mbaviire ku ntono yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yeah. Dabana kende budu sebone ndya yenkeche wachite waleta nindya nange eye sebo banzireta akabwane kazirya kwe wachite wakakubako eryopoko eribene yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama hey yeah. Yerere mama, yerere mama, yerere mama, yerere mama, hey, yerere mama, yerere mama, yerere mama, yerere mama, hey. Echoto ngachikute mama twanyumyanga abange twakochanga omwana omuwala oyo ngamanya ebikwata ku fumbo nange omulenzi nemanya empisa waka yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama yerere mama, yeah. Oh, man. Oh my God.
Good stuff.
So yeah, that was Budu. And Budu is in the southern part of Uganda. So that is like a place where this journey was happening from. And that was the song. So the next song is, for those that are believing, or who are into faith, we always make like promises. Oh, if I get this job, I'll do this. Maybe I'll give the tithe. Or if I get a husband, this will happen. Or if I get a wife, this is what I do for you, God. If I get this much money, I'll help the poor or something like that. And guess what? Those prayers come to pass. You get the money, you get the job, you get the wife or the husband, you get the kids, you get a good house. But we tend to forget our promises. And you have this good house, but you can't share it with anyone or the poor. You have this money, I'm keeping my money. You don't know the journey I took to get this money, so you don't share it with as you promised then before the money.
Yeah.
And this particular song is like that. Don't let the things that we acquire, lie to us that we are the superior, There's the time when you don't have and there's time that you have. So just probably fulfill your promises. Yeah.
And what's it called?
Tebakulimba. Bova kuchoya kutondera obanga afute kumulamwa jukira yakwesiga akuwa buli kyolina gwe akuwa nsimbi nakuwa pyute weraba bwe watuuka wamwerabira wafuuka musugwe kanyanya tewadda tebakulimba bano abantu balimba tebakuwanika babi abantu balimba tebakulimba bano abantu balimba tebakuwanika babi jukira be wasuubiza gwe balikuwa ensimbi nakuwesa te oli musinza isana na kiro ye yatukirisa gwe bewamusaba weraba bwe watuuka wamwerabira afuuka musugwe kanyanya tewadda tebakulimba bano abantu balimba abantu balimba abantu balimba abantu balimba abantu balimba Ernesto bagambe Ronya bagambe Emma bagambe abantu balimba Judy bagambe abantu balimba Suzani bagambe abantu balimba tebakulimba bano abantu balimba abantu balimba abantu balimba abantu balimba obakye yakutondera obanga afute kumunamwa jukira ye yakwesiga kuwa buli kyolina kwe akuwa simbi akuwa byute weraba bwe watuka omwerabira afuka musugwe kanyanya tewada
Hey, man.
Yeah, man.
Those are the same 4 chords
Yeah.
I used to write my first song.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, G, E minor, C, D.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's the classic.
That's the classic. I'm going to be playing my last number, which is a tribute to Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Madiba. So the song talks about you grew as other kids, as they grow. You never knew what was going to happen, but you chose the right path. You stood for whatever that you stood for and liberated many people. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Madiba. Bakulabanga wakulanga abaana balala kosa n'obulumi kwe lw'obuvumu bwo gwe tolinva ku mimwa lw'obuvumu bwo gwe tolinva ku mimwa the land of Africa, the son of Africa, Madiba goes to rest. The land of Africa, the rain in Africa, Madiba goes to rest. Mandela, Madiba, Mandela, Madiba, oh wange no my way. Zewe nkula njagala mbenga kwe, mubye nkola njagala mbenga kwe oh wange. Zewe nkula njagala mbenga kwe, njagala mbenga kwe oh wange. The rain in Africa, The sun of Africa, Madiba. The rain in Africa. The sun of Africa, Madiba, goes to rest. Mandela. Madiba. Woo. Thank you.
Giovanni Kiyingi.
Yeah, Giovanni Kiyingi.
Kiyingi. That is such a beautiful sounding instrument. It just sounds like rain.
Thank you. The kalimba, the akogo. It is mainly in the eastern part of Uganda and the northern part of Uganda by the nomads.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen them, I don't know, in different shapes, some round, and that's the more traditional.
Yes, it's the more traditional, but even me, I've seen, more of other, replicas with a gourd down, the round one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Any closing words besides?
To other people that are creating, to the other creators, I think we don't mind what people are saying at what particular time, as long as you are on that right path and you're trying to build for the good of your community, your life, and for the well-being of the humanity. Continue creating whatever you're doing. Let it be painting, poetry, writing books, sketching, building. Just go in that journey and let your shine. Let your light shine around everyone and for the good of their life. So as creators, we are either builders or breakers. So always choose which journey to take in terms of creating. Do you want to build a community or you want to break a community? That's the only word I can tell you. Just choose which path you want to take, but make sure it is the right one. Let's build the community.
Let's
build the community.
Let's build the community.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was Songwriter2Another, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Giovanni.
Thank you.